U.S. has been flying this spacecraft since 2010 called the X-37B.
In recent months, we've seen abuses here under our responsibility, and it's been a body blow for all of us.
The North Korean soldier who was shot, the surgeon treating him said he found parasites in the patient's intestines.
Military secrets are fiercely protected, yet sometimes forbidden images break through the barriers. These leaked snapshots, taken by hidden cameras, expose shocking scenes never meant for public viewing. So why is the military so fearful of these top-secret images getting out? Let's explore the photos government agencies are trying to take down from the internet. The M2A2 Bradley incident. Photos of the M2A2 Bradley, an armored vehicle used by the United States military, were shared online by a player from the game War Thunder, revealing detailed technical information about the vehicle. The Bradley is designed to carry soldiers in scout areas. It runs on tracks, making it good for rough terrain, and is equipped with a 25mm cannon, anti-tank missiles, and a machine gun. This wasn't the first time such sensitive information was leaked, as fans of military equipment often exchange detailed data online. The leak raised serious security concerns and led to an investigation by the military to prevent future incidents. Discussions about the effects of such leaks continue among enthusiasts. Despite the incident, the Bradley remains a key part of U.S. military operations. The site where the leak occurred has made it harder to share sensitive information, pointing out the ongoing challenges of keeping classified information safe in the digital world. This situation has sparked debates about balancing public interest with national security, highlighting the complex issues of information security in modern warfare. In 2017, people learned about the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, a Pentagon initiative to investigate UFO sightings. This program was mostly unknown until videos and reports from military staff were leaked. The release of over 400,000 documents is one of the largest exposures of classified military information ever recorded. The documents uncovered numerous cases of wrongdoing by military personnel, including abuse and illegal killings. They detailed the daily struggles and perils faced by U.S. and coalition forces operating in Iraq. The exposure of civilian casualties led to significant criticism from international communities and human rights organizations. Julian Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks, encountered substantial legal and personal challenges following the disclosure. The U.S. government criticized the release, highlighting concerns regarding national security and the possible dangers to military personnel. The documents extensively covered combat operations, the treatment of detainees, and the tactics of insurgents. This release ignited an extensive debate on the role of whistleblowers and the public's entitlement to information.
The disturbing video was posted on the internet today by WikiLeaks.
Media outlets around the world analyzed and discussed the documents, initiating wide-ranging discussions about the nature of the conflict. This event highlighted the critical impact of information transparency on public opinion and policy formation. It also spurred conversations on the oversight and ethics of actions during wartime. These logs continue to be an essential resource for discussions on military involvement and the protection of civilians in conflict zones. During World War II, the Allied forces came up with a smart trick called Operation Mincemeat to fool the Axis powers about where they planned to attack. They created a fake British officer, Major William Martin, and used a dead body to play his role. They dressed the body in a military uniform and put fake letters and military plans in his pockets. These fake plans made it look like the Allies were going to attack Greece and Sardinia. The Allies let the body float to the coast of Spain, knowing it would be found there. A local fisherman discovered the body, and it quickly fell into the hands of the German intelligence. Believing the documents were real, the Germans moved their troops to defend Greece and Sardinia. Meanwhile, the real plan was to attack Sicily, which was less defended because of this deception. This clever plan was a big part of the Allies' strategy to keep their real plans secret. By making the Axis believe in a fake plan, the Allies managed to attack where the enemy was not ready. Operation Mincemeat was just one of many tricks used under the strategy called the Bodyguard of Lies. This strategy involved using many lies and tricks to hide the truth from the enemy, helping the Allies succeed in many battles. The success of Operation Mincemeat shows how important it is to be clever and think ahead in war. It's not just about having more soldiers or better weapons. Sometimes winning depends on being able to confuse and mislead the enemy. This operation helped the Allies move forward with their real plan in Sicily, leading to significant victories and playing a crucial role in their overall strategy during the war. The surprise release of a highly confidential photograph raises several concerns about what other critical information might still be hidden and the implications of such sensitive information being revealed. It underscores potential weaknesses in the systems meant to safeguard sensitive data. At that time, the general public in the United States held a mostly unfavorable view of Iran. Online platforms were filled with people ridiculing the circumstances. The US president at the time, Donald Trump, who often sought the spotlight, participated in this by tweeting satellite images that mocked Iran. These images, which were exceptionally clear and detailed, seemed to give Trump a temporary advantage. However, this advantage turned against him quickly. US military officials raised alarms that the detailed nature of these images might accidentally reveal crucial information about the satellite's capabilities. Defense experts pointed out that the high resolution of the images might allow enemies to identify the satellite and possibly find ways to interfere with or destroy it. An astronomer confirmed this risk by stating he could determine which satellite was used based on the tweeted images. This error demonstrated a significant mismanagement of sensitive national security information. The episode sparked a widespread debate about the risks of sharing such detailed data on social media platforms like Twitter, and raised questions about the wisdom of such actions by a president. The fallout from this incident was far-reaching. The discussion moved beyond the security of the satellite to include the larger dangers of careless information sharing. This situation served as a cautionary tale about the need to protect national security information and the responsibilities of leadership positions. It highlighted the necessity for stricter rules on what government officials can post on social internet platforms, leading to calls for better training and policies to avoid similar mistakes in the future. An analyst pointed out that a high-tech satellite, USA 224, was involved in this debacle. This satellite is outfitted with a large 2.5-meter optical mirror and typically circles the Earth at an altitude of about 200 miles. It can clearly see objects smaller than 10 centimeters, a capability far exceeding that of commercial satellites, which can only make out objects no smaller than 25 centimeters. The sophisticated features of USA 224 position it as a premier surveillance tool. Donald Trump's decisions accidentally weakened the military's efforts to keep consistent imaging standards. Simultaneously, a less-known aspect of North Korea became known, adding complexity to international politics. This revealed how closely advanced technology and political maneuvers are intertwined. The consequences of employing sophisticated technology broadly impact diplomatic ties and can create unexpected problems. Information about North Korean prison camps, which was not intended to be public, was released by an ex-guard. These images confirmed the camp's existence and showed harsh environments like electric fences, crammed buildings, high walls, and tall watchtowers, believed to be commanded by Kim Jong-un. These camps are notorious for their lethal conditions, with numerous reports of extreme torture. A particular method of torture, known as pigeon torture, forces prisoners into painfully awkward positions for long durations, often causing long-lasting injuries. The comparison of these North Korean prison camps with Nazi concentration camps underlines the extreme brutality and inhumane situations that are common in these locations. The secrecy surrounding these camps enables the government to perpetuate these severe abuses extensively. The guards' exposure of these images not only reveals these concealed horrors, but also initiates a worldwide demand for action. Confronted by these images, we are forced to acknowledge the harsh truth of the situations in these camps, and to think about what steps we should take, both individually and together, to stop these violations of human rights and bring about change. As one military oversight surfaces, another shocking revelation emerges. The highly confidential X-37 spaceplane. The X-37 spaceplane represents a significant aspect of the U.S. military's advancements in recent years. This aircraft, built for extended missions, is operated remotely from the ground and was intended to remain hidden from public knowledge. Nevertheless, after a 2-year orbital mission around Earth, it returned to land at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Surprisingly, photographs of this very private plane have appeared online, revealing its structure and what it can do. It is thought that only 2 such planes exist, which prompts questions about the sharing of images of such a critical military resource. The hidden functions of these planes are typical in the realm of military technology, akin to Russia's S-300 missile system. This missile system, noted for its reliability, was distributed to various nations and was first put into service in the late 1970s. However, its reliability was questioned in 2015 when a video captured one of its missiles failing to launch properly, a moment that was meant to be kept hidden. The video not only cast doubt on the dependability of the S-300, but also demonstrated that even the most trusted systems can exhibit defects. This situation provides a critical perspective on the challenges and limitations of modern military technology, underscoring that no system is flawless, and even the most sophisticated can encounter issues. Initially met with optimism, Russia's S-33 missile eventually became known for its failures. Each attempt to launch the missile was fraught with problems, and it struggled to rise. Its inability to function as anticipated clearly showed that not all ventures aiming high succeed. When the missile did launch, its flight was short-lived. It soon fell back to Earth, disintegrating and scattering debris over a wide area. The person recording had to swiftly adjust their camera for safety and only continued filming after the situation was under control, capturing the dense smoke left by the crash. A somber view that underscores the desire to keep such footage private. In a similar manner, the U.S. Navy, which is generally transparent about its operations, has some photographs it does not share publicly. During the 1970s, a period known for frequent photo sharing, the Navy chose to keep certain images confidential. This selective dissemination of information suggests a strategic choice to withhold specific details. It leads us to ponder the possible contents of these photos and the reasons behind their concealment. This cautious handling of information reflects a strategy to manage what is disclosed publicly and what is kept hidden, likely intended to safeguard certain interests or prevent complications that might arise from wider dissemination. While people are grappling with one major issue, a new alarming problem has emerged: extremely dangerous prisons that should never be encountered, exposing issues in Iraqi prisons. A distressing incident occurred in Iraq at a facility that captured the world's attention after photos were released to the public. These images depicted American soldiers treating detainees in a cruel and harsh manner. The pictures quickly made their way around the globe, showing the harsh reality faced by the prisoners, which included over 50,000 women and children. They were confined in extremely small and tough living conditions, where they were subjected to brutal treatment by the soldiers overseeing them. The photographs vividly captured the guards forcing the detainees into painful and embarrassing positions, engaging in severe and unacceptable forms of abuse. This situation not only exposed the severe mistreatment and suffering of the detainees, but also sparked outrage and strong condemnation internationally. The images served as a painful reminder of the potential for human rights violations in conflict zones, raising serious questions about oversight and the conduct of those in charge. The widespread shock and disapproval that followed the release of these photos brought to light the need for strict adherence to human rights standards and proper treatment of prisoners. The incident led to calls for accountability and reforms to prevent such abuses in the future, emphasizing the importance of maintaining human dignity and respect even in the most challenging situations. The exposure of these images triggered widespread dismay across the globe, attracting condemnation from numerous countries and human rights groups. This incident underscored a severe lapse in the moral and ethical standards expected of individuals charged with maintaining law and order. In response to the ensuing outcry, the Pentagon initiated 35 investigations at the facility, which revealed that 25 detainees had died due to the extreme conditions enforced by what were described as reckless soldiers. Although the prison was closed in 2014, measures were taken to address the wrongdoings. Those soldiers implicated in the abuses faced significant repercussions and legal actions. Trials were conducted at Abu Ghraib, where the disgraceful conduct occurred, and others were tried in military courts or transferred to the United States to face justice. The trials and subsequent inquiries did little to repair the tarnished image of a nation regarded as a world leader, nor did they alleviate the bitterness spawned by such blatant human rights violations. The events vividly illustrated the severe consequences that can result from misused power and leadership, severely damaging the reputation of a nation that claims to stand for ethical governance. These events sparked debates about rules and personal freedom for young soldiers, revealing issues with strict military regulations, silent youth in military settings. The photos display a troubling truth. Children, some as young as early teenagers, and others not much older than very small children, are being trained in military ways, including how to handle weapons. These young people, skilled in using rifles, are not just learning to shoot, but also how to take care of their weapons. Their schooling mixes military training with regular school subjects like math and English. The photos also show their everyday lives, which are more like those of soldiers than typical students. They live in conditions similar to military camps, with bunk beds and a strict daily schedule that allows little time for normal childhood activities. The Russian Cadet School, which is quite well known, hosts over 600 children during the summer and over 1,500 during the school year, showing a strong cultural focus on starting military discipline early. On another note, military groups usually try to show a perfect image but sometimes face significant problems, especially during training exercises. For instance, one photo captures the moment two M1 Abrams tanks crashed into each other during a practice. The picture shows soldiers standing around the huge, tangled tanks, looking puzzled and worried as they wait for help. Even though each tank weighs an enormous 260 tons, showing great power, this accident points out occasional errors in military precision. Tank crashes might seem like scenes from a movie, but these are real accidents that the US government usually keeps quiet. Officially, such incidents are described as routine military exercises, but in truth, they often involve more chaos and uncertainty than is openly admitted. Regarding looking flawless at ceremonies, one could say that the soldiers' perfect posture is due to hard training and commitment. However, a recent photo from China offers a different view. It shows that pins are attached to new soldiers' uniforms to ensure they stand up straight. These pins are not for decoration, but are placed to hurt any soldier who doesn't keep perfect posture. This severe method shows how far military forces will go to maintain a disciplined look, even if it means causing pain to the soldiers. Ceremonial events are designed to impress viewers with their precision and magnificence. However, these occasions are not safe from unexpected issues. For example, during a 1970 event attended by Queen Elizabeth II, called Trooping the Color, a soldier unexpectedly passed out as the Queen rode by on horseback. This incident reminds us that despite careful planning, unexpected things can happen, showing the human side of those involved who might struggle under pressure. These examples, from hidden ways to ensure soldiers stand straight to errors at significant events, all stress a recurring theme of control and the attempt to present a perfect image. Beneath this surface, however, lies a reality filled with pressure and imperfections, illustrating the gap between appearances and actuality. This gap emphasizes the ongoing struggles and contradictions within military and governmental actions. It might have been due to the heat or a pre-existing health issue. Amidst the crowd, both he and the Queen had to remain composed, making the moment even more notable. The photo captures this tense situation, leaving us to wonder whether the soldier's collapse was due to his uncomfortable attire or an underlying health problem. The Crimean War is a powerful example of how brutal fighting can be. During this period, the way wars were recorded changed dramatically due to the bravery of the first war photographers. These photographers took great risks by positioning themselves near the front lines to capture what was happening. Their photos showed the true and harsh nature of war, making it real for people who were far away from the fighting. These images sent back from the battlefields brought the harsh reality of war right into people's living rooms, changing the way people thought about and understood wars. This shift in perception has had a lasting impact, shaping how we view military conflicts even today. These photographers gave us a view into the confusion and disorder of battlefields, while also sparing us from experiencing the full severity of war's cruelty. As a result, people worldwide began to see war not just as distant news, but as a real and terrifying event. This new awareness brought a deeper understanding of the sacrifices made by soldiers and the severe impact of war on human lives. It also sparked discussions and reflections on the necessity and consequences of wars, influencing public opinion and policy decisions. The role of war photography has grown, and it continues to play a crucial role in documenting the truth and informing the public, thereby keeping the memory of the harsh realities of war alive in our collective consciousness. These images reveal the hidden tensions of global power, where each photo tells a story, but not always the truth. The difficult conditions of North Korean soldiers. It was quite revealing when a tourist shared online photos of Kim Jong-un's army. These photos showed unexpected scenes. One depicted a soldier asleep by the road, while another showed female soldiers training in high heels. Even more notable was a photo of 18 soldiers squeezed into a vehicle meant for only 8. Their gear seemed old and worn out, indicating North Korea is behind other nations in military technology. The tourist who uploaded these photos commented on the soldiers' lack of readiness for combat, suggesting that the North Korean military might be poorly prepared for actual fighting. This might mean that North Korea is unlikely to start a war because its military might perform poorly in a real conflict situation. On another topic, the Tank Biathlon, hosted yearly by the Russian government, is an event often likened to the Olympics for tank crews. In this competition, participants usually operate Russia's older T-72 tanks. However, in one instance, China brought its own tank, which led to a noticeable problem. During the competition, a photo showed a tire coming off the Chinese tank unexpectedly, causing trouble for the vehicle and its crew. This was not a small issue. It was a significant embarrassment in a competition meant to display military strength and coordination. This failure halted the Chinese tank and highlighted the difficulties in keeping and using such advanced machinery in competitive settings. The image of the malfunctioning Chinese tank, meant to represent power and efficiency, instead conveyed a strong sense of failure and disarray. The recent problems with the Chinese Type 96B tank have become a major public relations issue. Advertised as a modern, cutting-edge model, this tank has instead emphasized the inferior quality of Chinese military equipment. The decision to keep images of this tank private indicates unease with its poor performance. A photo leak revealed details about military operations that were meant to be confidential. These images were taken by a daring new recruit named Max, who used his camera to record the harsh realities Belarusian soldiers face. The photos show soldiers undergoing intense training while dealing with very basic living conditions. For example, the photos include scenes of soldiers bathing with cold water from buckets because they lack proper bathing facilities with hot water. This highlights the significant differences in how soldiers live and are treated worldwide. The situation is further complicated by leaked photos involving Syrian rebels that have drawn significant attention. These photos, taken last year but only recently made public, confirm that US and British special forces were not just present, but actively involved with Syrian opposition fighters. This collaboration included friendly interactions, contradicting earlier denials by the British government in 2013. This disclosure raises important questions about the real extent of Western involvement in Syrian conflicts. If there was nothing to hide, why was there initially a denial of such interactions? The training, it turns out, was not limited to the official Syrian army, but also involved other groups participating in the conflict, blurring the lines of international military involvement and raising concerns about the real motives and actions of Western forces in these international disputes. The Burlington Bunker, also known as the Central Government War Headquarters, was a massive underground facility built in the UK during the Cold War. Located under RAF Corsham in Wiltshire, it extended over 35 acres and was situated 120 feet below ground. The bunker was intended to serve as a secure headquarters for the British government in the event of a nuclear war. Construction of the bunker began in the late 1950s as tensions with the Soviet Union escalated. For extended periods, the site was equipped with everything needed to sustain up to 4,000 people, including government officials and military personnel. This included offices, hospitals, living quarters, and a communication setup featuring the UK's second-largest telephone exchange. The complex also contained a water treatment facility and power generation systems to ensure self-sufficiency. The bunker was built with numerous security features, including thick concrete walls and blast doors, designed to withstand nuclear explosions and fallout. It had a variety of amenities to support long-term habitation, such as medical facilities, a cafeteria, and even a BBC radio studio, ensuring that communications could continue during a siege. Despite its extensive provisions, the Burlington Bunker was decommissioned in the early 1990s after the end of the Cold War. The threat of nuclear war had diminished, and the facility was deemed outdated due to advancements in missile technology. It remained a secret for many years, only becoming widely known after its decommissioning. The site has since attracted interest for its historical significance and has been documented for its role in Cold War-era defense preparations. Was the bunker ever truly about defense, or was it a cover for something more dangerous? Leave a comment and subscribe for more